Hey book nerds, I'm Travis, and this is Travis Reads Books. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. I read this book recently as a buddy read with Leanna's library, and she blew through it in like 3 days. She's super fast. It took me a little longer. I think this was a really good book. It's getting a lot of praise, and I believe the second one is coming out soon, if it's not out already. It is an interesting book for a lot of reasons. I picked it up thinking it was a YA, and by the dictionary definition of a YA book, it kind of is, because the protagonist is 16 years old. So technically, it kind of is a YA book, but it is 100% not written as a YA book. There's some very R-rated, there's some very X-rated material in there, which I don't think precludes it from being a YA book. YA books can have sex and violence in them, but the book really feels directed towards a more adult audience despite the age of the protagonist, and most of the characters for that matter. So whether or not it falls into the YA category, I'm not really sure. And even on websites and Goodreads and Amazon, I've seen it listed in a number of different ways, so I'm not sure anyone knows. Maybe Jay Kristoff knows. In any case, this is an excellent book, but it gets off to a really awkward start. The first chapter in particular is trying some interesting things narratively. It doesn't really pan out. The first few chapters overall are not particularly interesting. Mia, the main character, comes off as very dull, flat, one-dimensional, uninteresting. But I reiterate, this really is a great book, and we very quickly get to know Mia a little bit better than first appearances, and she becomes a much more interesting character. The world building is incredibly deep and dense, and it sort of drops you in without a lot of explanation, which I think is fine. I'm always happy to get dropped into a world, and I just have to pick it up as I go along. I don't need pages and pages of exposition explaining the magical system and the history of the world. So I kind of enjoyed that it just breezed right through that and uses a lot of terms and names that you won't understand at first. But I'm okay with that. And after a few brief initial adventures, the book quickly turns into an R-rated Harry Potter, right down to there being a potion-making class. But rather than Hogwarts, it's classes at an assassin's guild. People die left and right. Characters have sex after classes. It's all very dark. It's all very violent, and it's actually very well written. Everything is being told by a narrator who is always happy to insert his own opinions or bits of history into the narrative. He's actually quite a crass and vulgar narrator as well, but that fits with the adult themes of the story, I think, in a very adult world. That doesn't pull any punches when it comes to things like explicit depictions of sex and violence and horrible language, that sort of thing. If an R-rated Harry Potter sounds like exactly what you want, then I think you would really enjoy this book. I'm a Harry Potter fan, and I really enjoyed it. Parts of the middle of the book feel a little derivative of things like Harry Potter and the Divergent training scenes and the Hunger Games training scenes. So it's all very much stuff we've seen before in a lot of great YA books, with a much darker, more adult twist on them. Again, if those are books you like, I think you'll like this one, and I don't think it's too derivative to find its own voice. Plot-wise, there are some great twists at the end. There were definitely character developments and plot twists that I was not expecting, and it certainly left the door open for part 2, but it also closed out the story in a satisfying way, which I always appreciate in trilogies and series, especially with YA, where sometimes the author just ends in the middle of the story in order to provide a cliffhanger. Nothing displeases me more than the lack of a proper ending to a book. If you're wondering what's in my cup today, it is Wolfgang Puck's Jamaican Me Crazy. I can't say I approve of the pun, but the coffee is full of coconutty goodness. So overall, I think Nevernight was an excellent book. I think it will appeal to fans of Harry Potter, Hunger Games, etc. It is not for the squeamish or the faint of heart. There is blood, there is gore, there is sex. But if that doesn't turn you off the book, I think there's a lot to enjoy here. If you like this review, be sure and give it a like. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike. If you haven't subscribed yet, maybe click subscribe so you don't miss any videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Love and respect. See you next time.